24-05 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from residential low density to industrial on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, authority, and an effective date.
All right, this time we'll open it up for a public hearing. Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. It will be the pleasure of the council.
Offer a motion for ordinance 1526.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, concerns, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1526 has been approved. Next, item I.
Ordinance number 1527, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 5.055 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 24-08 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single-family manufactured home 1 RSF MH1 to industrial I on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, authority, and an effective date.
All right, this time we'll open it up for public hearing. Seeing and hearing none, public hearing portion is closed. It will be the pleasure of the council.
Offer a motion for ordinance 1527.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, concerns, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. And ordinance 1527 is approved. The last item on the agenda tonight is item J.
Discussion and possible council action for the appointment of seat number 5 of the Planning and Zoning Board for a 3-year term starting August of 2024 and ending in August of 2027 based on applications received.
All right.
We've got 2 applications that I see here. One from Mr. Kenneth Beasley and one from Mr. Jay Goldman. What I have here.
All right. Are either of the applicants here this evening? I know Mr. Beasley is.
Keep it here the whole time.
With council's.
Just for the record, Mr. Goldman was called away unexpectedly out of town, so he was not able to be here. And he did ask if there was a possibility to table it until the next meeting, so he could be in attendance also. So I told him I would bring that up for your consideration.
All right. It will be the pleasure of the council.
First of all, I'm going to say this.
Yeah, we just need a motion one way or the other, and then we can discuss.
I make a motion that we accept the names that has been submitted.
Is that clear enough?
For
Well, you have to pick one.
Right.
well,
Either you, let me clarify everything, either
Okay.
you determine that you want to table it, or you decide to pick one tonight. It's either way.
well, I have questions about, because I went out there to find this application myself. This application was nowhere to be found. I had to call and talk and wait until somebody came back from lunch to say, oh, okay, I will send it to you via email. So I'm wondering, what is the process for when you have these openings? Are we cherry picking who we want on these committees, or are we placing things out there for the public to be able to get? So that is what I want to kind of like, what's the process of how these are, because I do believe in being fair.
Sure. We advertised in the newspaper for at least 3 consecutive weeks,
Mm-hmm,
and then I had a public notice at the last council meeting
mm-hmm,
to describe when the deadline was. And just like the majority of the forms that we use for applications, it requires somebody to contact staff to send it by email. Anybody can walk in. I'm sure they could come into City Hall administration, order the annex, and request a form, and we're happy to give it to them in person.
Ms. Gale didn't even know about the position being open, that there was any.
Well, generally, if Gail doesn't know, we're all there in close proximity. And
That's not the way it should work.
she can, well, nobody has the answer to every question. That's
An
out there,
application,
so-
just saying, I want to pick
Sure.
up an application, they're not available, readily available for anyone to pick them up. Not talking about answering questions.
Sure,
But to have access.
sure.
We're gatekeeping here. That is gatekeeping.
I've never had a situation where I've not been able to provide something that somebody has asked for, but that's my history here for.
But I shouldn't have to wait till somebody come back from lunch, said they were on, could be placed online, print out, PDF it, print it out. If it's at midnight and I want to get this application to print out, I should be able to do it with modern technology, with what we're doing here. So I don't have a problem with the names that has been submitted. I have a problem with the way we're doing things as to getting more people involved. That is my issue right there.
Right.
But something simple as an application, a paper application, I mean, they could sit out there at, when I called over here to, and spoke with the person who answered the phone saying, hey, listen, I'm trying to find out where can I find this application? Nowhere to be found.
I think that would come under the manager and working in conjunction with the clerk's office that manages the website. And then anything that goes on the website does have to be ADA compatible for the folks that can't see or hear, so that's another consideration. But that would come under the manager.
We'll just have to work on our website. There will be a person taking care of our website.
And just simple by having a set of papers at the window where anyone, come in, hey, listen, I want to pick up a packet. I don't need anyone to answer the questions for me until I start filling it out. But again, it's gatekeeping, and that's what we need to get away from. So that's my discussion.
Mr. Curtis, how long has that vacancy been on the zoning board number 5?
It's been a few months. I don't know the exact date.
So, and I think we do advertise and that position is available or vacant, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the only issue I have with this here, if we try to table it, waiting on the next person, it would not be fair for someone who already took the time out, fill out the application, pick it up, fill it out, and be present at the night that we are going to fill this position. And now, cherry picking. Mr. Beasley has conformed, followed instruction, and he's here present. And I don't know when I can make a recommendation or whatever we need to make for it. Let's proceed with the one applicant that we do have and go from there. Unless you plan on re-advertising.
So, are you wanting to speak on this item?
Yes.
Then you have your 3 minutes. Ms. Reddish.
I'll put some of the other,
Ms. Reddish.
Alicia Reddish,
Thank you.
815 Bryson Street. So a couple of things. The concern was the commercial trucks going up and down Anna. I agree with that completely. However, there's semis that go up and down that road because there's residents at the end of Anna. So that was one of my main concerns. The other issue is I am a realtor, and I just wanted to talk to you about the affordable housing. And a lot of times the education does rely on realtors talking to the buyers and educating them in the things they need to do to work on their credit. The whole process of that, there's programs out there that help these young couples for their first time home buyers. So as far as incentives, I believe, I've heard the fellas talk before about, compromising some of the pricing or whatever to try to get these people into the houses. So I feel like they do that, when necessary. But it does fall on, a buyer working with an agent or an agency that helps them in that process and the education. I think that $200,000 mark on the housing is fair, because the problem is we have such a shortage, so therefore your prices are going to be higher. We have got to get more available housing so that eventually we can come down, but that also depends on the DOJ with interest rates and so forth. So, in the coming years, maybe things will kind of turn around and it will be a lot better. But right now, we just don't have the housing available for these young buyers. The only thing I can say on the discussion, Jay, is for the seat. I personally do sit on the Planning and Zoning Board, and all I can do is speak for myself. And I would just like to say that when someone's chose for the position, that they do have the knowledge, because that's a pretty big decision when you are looking at the comprehensive plan, when you're looking at zoning, when you're looking at, I personally, when I get my agenda, I read through it, and then I get in my car and I go right around and I look at the neighborhood. How is this going to impact that? That's all I'm going to say is whoever gets that position needs to have the understanding, because it's a pretty big deal by the time it's voted on and then it gets to you guys for your final decision. So I think Mr. Jay Goldman, the other applicant, may not have known about this being on the agenda tonight, so I don't see where that could be fair for him. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, so do we have a motion one way or the other? Excuse me.
No, you don't have a motion yet. We said make a motion for one of the candidates for the position. Is that where we are?
No,
I think right now we're deciding either to table this or to have a motion to approve. Yes.
I make a motion that we approve Kenneth Beasley since he's here for the position.
second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, comments, questions, or concern?
Can we ask Mr. Beasley?
Would you like to come speak, Mr. Beasley? You can use that microphone over there if you don't mind, sir. Thank you.
Kenny Beasley, 1717 Northeast Davis Street, Live, Florida.
You being considered for this position, what do you have as your background for you?
For background, well, I work for Suwannee County Road Department. I know how things go, because I also do help with road pavement of Suwannee County Road Department, which I did some of that today, by the way. I know the layouts and things I would have to do for the roads and all that good stuff.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Beasley?
But also the vice president, well, I'm the vice president of the Voting League and also a member of the NACP.
All right, I think we're good. Yes, sir. God bless you. All right. Do this as a roll call, or we just do this as a?
Appointment, I do a roll call.
All right, so we'll
So wait a
start.
minute, excuse me, so why are we doing a roll call?
This is an appointment.
This is appointment.
Yes, ma'am. I just got there.
I just-
So we'll start with Mr. Alford.
I'm gonna go no.
All right, Miss. No, Miss Robinson.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Jefferson.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go no. So the motion falls, is not approved.
All right, now question.
Sure.
Are we going to, the other applicant, Mr. George, who's the
We have to re-advertise?
No,
Are we re-advertising or we,
it should be re-advertised where people can receive the applications, without the gatekeeping. Because if you do it.
Whatever Mr. Sessions tells me to do is what we'll do. Although we can certainly,
You know, I think that if Mr. Beasley wants to reapply, that's fine, but we have to re-advertise, based on what y'all have voted. So, since you didn't pick Mr. Beasley this time, we re-advertise. If he wants to reapply, that's fine with me and whoever else.
Well, the other option is you could have a motion to appoint the other individual or a motion to table.
right.
I make a motion that we re-advertise.
second,
For what length of period?
What was the first advertised link?
We did 3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks?
And it takes about a week and a half to get it in the paper. So you're probably looking at the week of Christmas before an ad would run. And it would be the week of New Year's and then.
So it'll be
the week-
February
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah.
question.
So we'd have a deadline. At the
We
end of
haven't
the,
had a second yet, no.
yes.
So we have a motion on the floor. And a second. All right, now we have time for comments, questions.
Question, is both applicants will be allowed to reapply?
Anybody that is a resident of the city
Mhm.
that doesn't have a conflict with another appointed dual office type position. I don't think you can be an employee of the city, and you can't hold another office, but anybody else that's a resident could apply, I guess.
And also, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Session, and city clerk. God, what's the question? Suppose those, wow.
The applications, we'll get the applications out there. We'll have them in paper form and online.
Let me ask one question.
Sure.
How often do we have these appointments?
Every 2 to 3 years on average.
So that's probably
It's not
why
a
we
common
don't readily have the applications, but I promise we will have them ready. Because I don't consider that gatekeeping. I just feel like that, since it comes around every 2 or 3 years, that may have been the issue of getting the application for you when you ask for it. But we will make sure they're readily available from this point forward. And Gail will know about it too.
But I think that, the lady said that he didn't know, but I think Mr. Curtis said he did know and he had.
We called them today.
Right.
We called
So
them,
now,
yeah.
board now, are we doing an interview process? Is this gonna be standard? Because sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
It's up to y'all.
Now, we didn't make establish this right now. We're gonna do it's gonna be an interview process. We ask these applicants a question, let that be the footprint throughout the process from now on.
What I would propose is, already on the to-do list, I can draft up a short policy for the board's consideration that would apply from this follow-up procedure forward, such as the applications can be in paper form, electronic form. The city will give notice to each of the applicants of the date and time of the meeting, and each one of them can have answer questions, have X number of times to make a presentation. I'll put something together, and that way y'all can vote on it as a formal policy. That will help staff understand that when this comes up every 2 or 3 years, here's what we need to do with the applications, and then staff will know what type of notice to give to the applicants. A week, 3 days, well, I'm just throwing out times, and it would be up to those applicants to be able to attend that meeting.
One more question. Now, are the applicants informed that they need to be present? Or is there
I
a
think the
rule
burden,
that
the
we
burden,
have?
the responsibility for each individual, the burden, I think ultimately the burdens, the accountability is for every person to seek out the information. I don't think, we don't go out of our way to handhold applicants, because if they're really truly interested in the position, then you think they would make the efforts to be here.
But are they told up front?
But if there's an extenuating circumstance, if Mr. Beasley got called away on road work, emergency road work, and then Mr. Goldman was here, what situation would we have?
We did the
Yeah,
same process.
Right, so,
We did the same thing.
but yeah,
And the
you
applicant
know,
that was here,
so.
yeah. We done the same thing. I don't think we'd have differed in any kind of way because of one person or another.
But given your concerns, Mr. Jefferson, I'll work on something with you, and we'll get something in place so that there is a procedure to follow, and I think that helps the council and administration on, when these do come up, and these intervals, that this is the checklist.
And one more thing, Mr. Curtis, on this here, for us planning and zoning board members, are they informed about meetings, if they miss meetings, so many consecutive meetings, they're off the board? Are they
I think
informed
the
about that?
code says it's up to the council. There's a part in the land development code that talks about the council can remove somebody for a certain just cause. So they're provided a copy of all the land development regulations, and we do an orientation to go over, how things run.
When is your next meeting?
It'd be the fourth Monday of January. Normally it'd be the third Monday, but that's a holiday, so we have to push it to the fourth Monday.
What time?
5:30.
So is that a handbook or rules and regulation concerning number of time missed or conduct or anything? Does that
I
come
don't
up to
think,
planning and zoning?
even the city council has a rule book to go by, so that would be probably the best place to start if you're gonna.
Well, we got certain things that,
So,
Consecutive
I'm
meetings.
not aware in, the history of the city that anybody has been interested in any kind of rules that go by.
well, I read the rules, I seen them there. All right.
Mr. Klepper, out of courteous, I will allow you some time. I know you've been chomping at the bit.
Well, I think if future issue come up, we're gonna have it handled. But, for this particular one, I'm curious as if the other applicant, don't know him, it's immaterial to me who it is, but I think on principle, since the other applicant, it is extenuating circumstances, seem like they were approved, absence.